am here to talk about The Dry by Jane Harper. This is a 2016 novel. Well, it came out in Australia in 2016. I think it came out in the States in 2017. And it's set in Australia in a small town that I can't pronounce, but it's written like this. So if you happen to know how to say that, let me know in the comments. The book centers around a character named Aaron Falk. He is a police, he's actually federal, but he does financial crimes in Melbourne. But he had grown up in this small town. He and his father were forced to leave when he was, I want to say 16, when a neighbor girl was found drowned in a river, and suspicion fell on Aaron, but they couldn't prove anything. At the same time, this small town turned against the family, and Aaron and his dad left. He eventually became this federal officer, and when his best childhood friend dies, he returns at age 36 for the funeral, but then also the parents, who were kind of like surrogate parents to Aaron, ask him to investigate because the town believes that Luke murdered his wife and son and then himself, and obviously Luke's parents don't believe that, and they want Aaron to find something to prove otherwise. It's not really Aaron's job. He takes a week off from work and stays in town. Obviously, there is tension because he is not welcome in this town, but he works with the local town constable to investigate. We get a lot of kind of false leads, as is usual. We get a lot of flashbacks in italics to when Aaron was younger, and we get a solution to both the modern current storyline and the past storyline. It's full of some, I think, well delineated characters. I saw later in reviews some people did not think the characters were well delineated. I mean, yeah, some of them are really terrible people, but honestly, having grown up in a small town myself, I'm like, yeah, there are people like that. It seems almost too villainous to be true or real, but honestly, I found it believable. I did find it weird that even though most everything in the book is from Aaron's point of view, it refers to him as Falk throughout, just his last name. I did wonder too if the author chose Falk like Peter Falk, Columbo, but I don't know. It was just a passing thought. I know that it's not uncommon to refer to each other by surname, especially in a professional environment, but even though it's not in first person, it feels a little like Falk is thinking of himself as Falk instead of as Aaron. And it was kind of strange, especially since some characters are referred to by mostly female characters are referred to by their first names, male characters by their last names for the most part. And again, I don't know, maybe that's a cultural thing. Maybe it's because a lot of the women are married and have the same last name as their husbands. It was a thing I noticed. That's all I'm going to say. Now, fair enough, when in the flashbacks, when Aaron is with his friends, they do refer to him as Aaron. So at least nobody's going around calling him Falk, I guess. Maybe because that would be his dad. I don't know. Towards the end, once we know whodunit, we do get some stuff from the person's point of view. So that was a shift I also noticed. It's not bad or wrong, it was just noticeable. I enjoyed it overall. Once we got the really key clue around 50-60% mark, I pretty much knew where it was headed, but I will say that it did keep me guessing because there were moments where I was like, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, this or that, which I really like in a mystery. I was right, but I enjoyed the twists and turns that were thrown in the path. And I know this is the first book with this character. I don't know that I'm in any rush to read more, but I wouldn't say no to reading more either. Like, I would pick up the second book. At some point, I probably will. I gave it 4.5 stars, 4 stars on Goodreads, because I'm trying to be a little less generous with my 5 stars. I'm trying to keep 5 stars for books that are just like one of the best things I've ever read. But I really enjoyed this. I found it to be a page turner. You know, I stayed up late to finish it last night, so that must mean something. But yeah, I thought it was a solid work. It was Jane Harper's debut. And, you know, I will, like I said, probably read more of these just to see if Falk goes back to Melbourne or stays in the town. It's unclear at the end where that's going. But, yeah, it was good. Anyway, if you've read it, I don't hear a whole lot about it, but it is also an older book, so maybe it was big 10 years ago and I just missed the fanfare. But yeah, if you have read it or read any of the others in the series, and I know Jane Harper also has a few other books that are not Aaron Falk books, you know, let me know your thoughts. It was kind of nice to read something set somewhere else. I don't read very many books set in Australia. I think the only one that comes to mind is like The Thornbirds, which I read obviously like decades ago. Pride of the Peacock by Victoria Holt, I think, was set in Australia. Like, because the opal anyway, sorry. Tangent. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. I have another book from the library that I'm going to look at and see if I want to read. If not, then I will pick something else up. But until next time, take care.